Hello. I'm sitting outside of my meeting waiting for Tanya Jean, who we have stood outside now for, we got out at like 8. We went out there for like 35 minutes talking to people, and she's still taking her sweet ass time. Come on. I'm recording my vlog when you get in here. I'm recording my vlog. She thinks she's such hot shit. She's showing me her. It's right there.
Quit being so damn bossy. Bossy britches Peter. Bossy britches Peter. Peter has no air conditioner. It is hot as hell.
Do you need help getting in the car?
No, I'm good.
Tanya's in a boot because of her foot. She could hardly get into the car.
And he is so nice about it.
I carried your chair to the
Lord,
group.
look at that double chin.
I carried your
He just dragged me to the car, actually.
That is not true.
Like, literally dragged me.
No, we've been standing out there for almost 40 minutes. I
need to get that thing Alex said done.
I carried your chair to the group.
You did. You were very much a gentleman.
I waited for you to come inside.
You did. You held my hand and walked me out.
We had a good meeting tonight.
Yeah, it was a good meeting. I needed that.
We heard a lot about, like, we have to be real anonymous about this, okay?
Well, you're the one bringing it up.
We talked a lot about, because I think it's interesting, you know? Mm-hmm. We talked about jealousy and envy, and it was really good for me to hear, like, the newcomers.
Go ahead, yes.
The newcomers talk about, not newcomers, but how long do you think most of those people have in there? 6 months to a year?
Yeah.
In there. So, you know, like, they're still, like, at the point where they're talking about, like, the first drink, or...
And how lucky they are just to have a mill and a place to live.
Right.
And a relationship back.
Yeah, and so it was really humbling for me, I think, to really, you know, like, look at my life in comparison and be like, wow, I've come a long way since that. Like, I can't forget, you know?
Which we do, and it was very... that was a powerful group. Except for one person who's a little preachy, but that's all right.
Well, that one person that was a little preachy, you left me stranded with after the meeting. Thank you very much.
That was good for your spiritual condition.
That was good for my spiritual condition after he basically said in the meeting that, well, when I'm struggling with that, either
You're
everything
an asshole.
Yeah, basically is what he said to me.
You're just an asshole. You don't get this shit.
You don't get it. You're an asshole.
You're not human.
But it was good.
Yeah, it was good. I needed it.
There was a lot of hope in the meeting tonight. I mean, there was a lot of people talking about kind of desperate situations and then having a lot of hope, you know?
The one guy broke my heart. I told him we'd come over and cook for him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cook, but I'm like, Ron, I can bring you dinner. Cooking and stretching it.
You're not going to cook. Tanya's favorite part, though, of being sober is the we call it fellowship.
Used to be.
She just likes to stand out there and be gossipy with people.
Oh my gosh. Oh, they know better than that. Who would that be?
No, I wasn't gossipy with anybody. I was talking to the person that was the chairperson tonight, and I said, can you ever not be sarcastic with anything? He goes, don't you know that's my language?
Well, your language.
He said, you sponsored me for 2 years, you should know that.
Look how my finger's crooked now.
You're crooked.
No empathy. No.
You listen,
Dr.
Tanya Jean.
Phil.
Tanya Jean Applestein, prettiest girl I've ever seen. You can. This is Tanya's deal, right? Like, Tanya can drag me over the coals being funny and being jokingly mean, and then if I say anything, she goes, you know I'm just joking, I'm just being funny, ha 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 ha. But if I say one thing, she's like, God, you're so mean to me. You're so mean.
Because you're sensitive. You got.
Tell the story about being at, because this is funny, about being at your house and what you did the other night.
No, I am not.
Tony, it's so funny.
I'm not doing that. No.
It's so funny. Because it's all of us. We all do stuff like that.
No.
And then I'll turn it off after that.
You promise?
Yes.
Well, I have my foot in a boot, and I don't like to ask for help. So I felt like he should read my mind.
She felt like her husband should read her mind.
Should read my mind, right? I mean, I should have something to drink, my foot propped up, a little bit of TLC, a little bit, can I get you something to eat? Because that's what us women do for those men. So I'm sitting there dying of thirst, not wanting to ask for help. So I start army crawling to the kitchen to try to get me something to drink. Because you know I had to make that point, my big old little booty up there, army crawling.
So here she is army crawling from the living room to the kitchen while Eric, her husband's just sitting there,
and he's
right?
like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I just needed some water. So he literally does get aggravated, and the best thing for him to do is go upstairs. Well, then that makes me more mad. So I start taking shoes out of our shoe basket and just start throwing them up to the upstairs, like, Eric! Just throwing them like, how dare you leave me?
She was taking shoes and throwing them at the ceiling.
So he would hear them. And yet some bitch never heard one shoe. So I had to sit there and pout all by myself.
How was that working for you?
I had to make an amends to him.
So, Tony Jean, when you were throwing shoes at the ceiling...
As if you do this, I wasn't just let off this turnip truck.
Did you think maybe it wasn't your husband's fault that you actually taught him how to treat you, Tanya Jean?
We let people treat us the way we let people treat us.
We teach people how to treat us, Tanya Jean.
So if you allow that...
You should have thrown the shoe at his face.
Ooh, I should have. Back in the day, I would have. I'd have crawled out to my car and drove to the local bar.
There's a scene, and this is not going to ruin it for anybody, but there's a scene in... Hey.
Hey.
Hippie on a scooter.
Hit him up, roll him. Look at them big things in there.
Those big plants, yes. It looks like Florida.
Oh my God.
There was this scene in Orange is the New Black where they're like introduce this new character and they kind of explain like why she's in prison, but they're like slowly showing it. And there's a scene when she's like have this altercation with her parents, and she takes this like book and she chucks it at her mom and it hits her in the nose. And I thought I would not even be alive right now.
Oh, my mom would chase my butt down.
Yeah, so
I would have ran for my life.
Well, you told the story, so I guess I have to turn it off now.
All right, what story do you have to tell today? Have you been perfect today?
I've been perfect today.
All right, Mr.
We talked about character defects, and Tanya starts off. She goes, "Well, I don't have any character defects." Then somebody in our group actually said, "I don't have any character defects." I was like, "Oh."
I have never. Okay, so I have never. This person said they had never been envious and never been jealous. I'm like, dude, you have it going on.
Yeah.
But just wait, it'll come out.
Man, some of the shares were so powerful from some of the people that had, I mean, people were really, really fucking honest.
Yep.
So the meeting we go to is like, how many people? 30, 40 people, and then we split into smaller groups.
Yep.
So we were in a group with like 7 people, and people were really honest tonight, so. All right, well, I'm gonna get off here. Say goodnight, Tanya Jean. You haven't been on here for a long time.
I know. Love you guys. Miss ya.
All right, bye.
Thanks for supporting my boy.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello. Okay. I just dropped Tanya off. Let me get this all situated. I'm leaving her house. I just texted Alex and I said, I am gonna vlog for a little bit and then I will be home. And we went to the grocery store afterwards because she hadn't been able to go to the grocery store today because she really can't drive with her foot. So I took her to the grocery store so she could do some grocery shopping. And then, my hair was looking cute, but then it started raining. It looked cute earlier. And she got a bunch of stuff for her and her husband. And I got some stuff. I got rice for the dogs. And I got veggie chips for Alex. And I got some stuff for dinner for me tonight. There was like this Dr. Prater's, who I really like that brand. They had like this, I didn't end up getting it, but I was going to. This cauliflower, shoot. What's that stuff called? It's like, why can't I think of it? Risotto. It was like this cauliflower risotto. And it was like, it was pretty low in fat and low in calories. And it was like, you make it in the microwave in like 4 minutes. But I didn't know really how good it would be in the microwave. So I was like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So I didn't end up getting it. But, yeah. And that was my evening. Today was good. I had a good day today. I'm sorry for the wind. I have to have the windows open. It's super hot. It's 80 degrees outside right now. I got up, I went and got coffee, and then I didn't really have a whole lot of errands to run. I came home, made my videos, took a shower, went to marriage counseling, had a great marriage counseling session, and then went and picked up Tanya for the meeting. Then we went to the meeting, which you guys saw Tanya, so that was good. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's been my day. Not really a whole lot else going on. It's been kind of just a blah day today. It's been raining off and on. Tanya was actually supposed to go to a concert tonight. This guy that she's friends with, this local guy, but it was like raining, and then she was like, I don't know that I want to like be trying to move around in my boot in the mud if it starts raining. So she was like, I'm just gonna go to the meeting instead. So we went to the meeting, and it was a good meeting. I didn't really feel like going, honestly, earlier. She like called me and I said, well, I thought you were gonna go to the concert, and she was like, well, I decided not to. And I was like, well, I should probably go. I need to go to a meeting. So we did, and it was good. And that's about it. And Alex has been at home just watching TV, and I just talked to him, and I asked him if he wanted anything, and he said veggie chips. So, and I am really, really into Orange is the New Black. So I'll probably, it's like 10 o'clock right now, 10:08. So I will vlog, and then I will probably watch some of Orange is the New Black, because I'm like really into it. And I'm like on episode 8 out of 13. Yeah. There was something I wanted to talk about on here tonight. I can't remember what it was. Tanya was like, I love a good summer rain. We were walking to the car and it started like pouring down rain. It stopped really quick. And I was like, I do too, but not when I'm getting poured on it with my groceries. And I'm trying to get my friend to the car because she can hardly walk. Gosh, I don't know what I was going to talk about. It's just been a very good day. It's been very pleasant, you know, and I'm just really content. And sometimes I have to remember that, you know, about just being super content with where I'm at. And it was interesting. I've shared this on here before, but I say a prayer every day that's helped me to want what I already have, and that's like gratitude-based. And I was really thinking a lot about that in the meeting tonight, you know, when the topic came up of jealousy and envy as a character defect, you know, that I think it's really easy to compare our lives or compare ourselves to somebody else, you know? And typically I think we do that with somebody that might have it better than us, or seemingly it's better than us, or they seem to have things that are what we want. But, you know, do we really know? And I was actually talking to a friend of mine after the meeting, and he said to me, you know, like, I think sometimes we forget that people's outsides don't match their insides. And I was like, you know, that's really like a powerful statement, you know, that I do think I forget that sometimes, that, you know, I live a really charmed life. I have a great life. It's still hard for me sometimes when I feel like, you know, I'm so thankful for my sobriety and my recovery. But when I see like where other people that didn't have to go through that, and I wouldn't be who I am today without it. But when I see people that never had to go through that to learn valuable lessons in their life, or, you know, like they graduated from college when they were 21, 22, and, you know, got their master's degree, got a job, you know, and they're like, they've lived a good life for 20 years, and like my life was different because of, you know, being an addict or an alcoholic. Whether that's a disease or whether it's my choice, at the end of the day, it's still what happened to me in my life. And, you know, sometimes it's like I find myself unnecessarily comparing myself to other people. And I'm like, why do I do that? Like, you know, my journey is so completely different than theirs. It's often like when Alex and I Like we'll be invited to somebody's house for dinner that we haven't been to, you know, or we have never seen their house before. We just know them from like through friends or whatever. And I'll walk in and I'll be like, oh my God, like, you know. But like I have to remember, like my journey is different. You know, my journey's not the same as everybody else's. I will tell you, I had this eye-opening experience a couple years ago with friends of mine that, and we don't really see them much anymore, but they had this beautiful home and they both drove like amazing cars and they traveled all the time and they always had like the greatest clothes and, you know, they had careers to match, but, and I'm talking actually about like a financial superficiality of comparison, if that makes sense. But, you know, they had this life that on the outside I looked at and I thought, my God, like, you know, and they had jobs and careers that financially matched that, like, it made sense to some degree, but even then it was like, how are they must be making so much more money, you know? And we would look at it and, they went through a very kind of like, I don't know how to say it any other way than this, but like a very public bankruptcy, and where one day they're like, you know, traveling and taking $10,000 and $15,000 vacations and driving luxury automobiles and living in one of the nicest neighborhoods in the north side of Indianapolis, and the next day they're like, they have nothing, you know, and their way of dealing with that with people was that they just kind of exited out of people's lives. Like, you know, they just didn't talk to people anymore. And they just, you know, chose to hide, I guess. Like, I mean, we just stopped seeing them over time, and it wasn't because of that, you know, but it makes me sad. And I think, you know, maybe a lot of times I don't know what somebody's real life looks like, you know? Live that way because like with my friends, like always when I was like in debt or, you know, trying to pay off credit card debt or whatever, I was just always real honest about that stuff. So like if friends of ours, you know, like invited us to go to something, I'd be like, no, we really can't afford it. You know, if it was like a trip out of town or whatever, we'd be like, no, you know, Alex and I would talk about it and I'd be like, no, we really can't afford it right now. We wouldn't make excuses for it. That would just be, you know, what we would say. You know, we were just always real honest about it. And so I think everybody always knew kind of like where we stood, that our goal was to pay off all of our debt. Like that was always Alex and I's goal early on in our relationship, you know, when we became committed in a committed relationship. So I guess I'm surprised a lot of times, and not just with money, but in life, that what people, I live my life so transparently that I think, like, I'm surprised when I meet people that don't, because I expect them to, you know, like, because that's how I live my life. And the people around me, like Tanya and Alex and Melissa and Jason and my friends, like, they all are pretty transparent with all aspects of their life. So you never really have to wonder where you stand. So I'm often like surprised when I meet people who live kind of phony lives. Like they don't, like what they're putting out there isn't really actually what is going on. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like I never, you know, I've never said that like Alex and I have the most perfect relationship or that we haven't had problems and stuff. And I mean, we have had couples that we're friends with through the years that are like, oh my God, we're so happy. We never argue and we have sex every day. And, you know, they tell us this stuff. I mean, not like just while we're sitting there at dinner, but like one will tell, you know, one of us, and Alex and I'll talk about it later. And I'm like, they have like the most magical marriage in the entire world. And Alex and I will be like, you know, and early on, when I met like one or two couples like this, I would be like, and this was really why getting on YouTube, it was really important for me to show like all sides of my marriage, you know? And because I wanted people to realize that, like, real marriages, people argue. Real marriages, people get in arguments about money and family and where we're going to go on vacation and what we're going to eat for dinner. And sometimes people stay angry and hold grudges in marriage, you know, a couple days, you know. Shit happens. Bad stuff happens in marriages, and it's really about working through that together as a team, okay? It's not acting like you have this perfect marriage that you guys always talk respectfully to each other and you're all, no, that's bullshit. There's real marriages that work and sustain through time. That's not the case, you know? And there has been some things that have happened in my marriage or in my relationship that I thought we weren't going to get through, you know? And I don't know, maybe someday something will happen in our marriage that we can't work through. I don't know, and I don't even want to speculate about what that might be. But, you know, like, I've sat with so many couples and, you know, gone out to dinner and become friends with couples where they're like, I mean, this just happened not too long ago to some friends of ours where it's like, what you see is this perfect relationship, this perfect couple, right? And then we heard that they're getting divorced. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times that's happened to me since Alex and I have been together, where we had this seemingly perfect couple that we were friends with, that we thought we knew a lot about them, and then what we really found out was we didn't know shit about them at all. And it, you know, and I think, like, because of being in recovery, you know, you have to remember that, like, that some of the merits, some of the values of sobriety are living honestly and living out loud and telling on yourself, that I expect that other people do that too, but they don't. And that's their business, that's their prerogative, but I'm always surprised, I don't know why, but I'm always surprised then when I find that that's not the case, like, that they actually aren't living that life. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I guess that's why, like, to some degree, I'm not that surprised by the fakery that I see go on YouTube, you know, and I kind of, like, I think to some degree I have, like, I've kind of become accustomed to it now, you know, like the fake friendships, the fake relationships, the fake going back and forth, the fake, like, to the point where I don't even really, like, care if that's the situation. Like, if that's what's going on and, you know, for the public arena, people want to fake, have at it, you know, like, I don't really care. But I don't understand it, really, like, you know. I think real life is just as interesting, but that's why, you know, I watch shows like Orange is the New Black, that's very real to some people, or I watch shows like, you know, documentaries, because I'm interested in real life. I'm not interested in fake concocted life. I'm not, you know. Do I think there's entertainment value to it? Sure. But, you know, when I think of, like, the shows through the years, like the reality shows, which I know that there's a lot of fake stuff that goes on, but, like, when I think about the reality shows that I've been really interested through the years that I've watched, you know, I watch The Real Housewives with Alex, I do. I know that it's heavily scripted, you know, and all that kind of stuff, but, like, when we really see somebody's authentic self, I think that's so much more interesting, you know? I don't know. Tomorrow I am having coffee with a friend, a sober friend, in the afternoon, and then I'm getting my hair cut. I was supposed to get it cut on Friday, but I moved it to tomorrow. I need it. It's, like, really long. My hair is growing so fast this summer. I'm, like, having to shave, like, every day, too. And then Alex and I, we started this probably like 8 years ago. We've been asked to do the mock interviewing for a pageant system, like a national pageant system. So tomorrow we are mock interviewing the contestant, and which is fun. So tomorrow I got to come up with a bunch of, like, pop culture questions, and I should ask you guys this. This would be good. If you could ask any Miss America or Miss USA. Okay, just imagine you're in, like, you know, it's like the top 10, and they're getting questioned, right? And you can ask them any question. It can be anything. It can be, you know, entertainment, political, pop culture, anything. What would you ask? What would be the one question that you would ask? Maybe I'll use some of the questions if I get this up in time tomorrow. It's always fun. We do that every year. It's always fun. Did we do it last year? I think we did do it last year. If we didn't do it last year, we did it 2 years ago. And I can't remember how we started doing it. We had like met. So I don't know if I have talked about this on here, but one of our very good friends was Brittany Mason, who is now the director of Miss Ireland, and she married us actually, and she was Miss Indiana USA, and she placed 6th at the Miss USA pageant, and so we became friends with her, and then we became friends with like a lot of pageant people, like people that work in the pageant system and have been in pageants and stuff in Indiana and just across the country. In the Miss USA pageant system and the Miss America pageant system, and there's a difference. And I think they're both now considered scholarship programs, but I think, and I'm not just joking, like Miss Congeniality, I don't know if you guys know this, and I think a lot of you will thank God, Peter, but like I have been obsessed with pageants since I was a little kid, like absolutely obsessed. And my mom and I used to watch the pageants every year together, like every pageant, Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Universe, we would watch all of them. And we would rate, you know, we would like take everybody and rate them and see who can win. I typically, at this point, at 46 years old of doing pageants my entire life, I can pick like the top 5 every pageant. I don't know how, but I just can do it. And what's so funny is, a couple years ago, we went over to Alex's aunt's house to watch the Miss Universe pageant, which we watched in Spanish, and I had really no clue what was going on. But what was interesting was, like, Alex had talked a lot about how, like, in Venezuela, like, the Miss Venezuela that goes to Miss Universe pageant, it's like a big deal. Like, Miss Venezuela has won Miss Universe many times. And it's like a huge deal. Like, pageants are a huge deal in Venezuela. I had no clue until we got over there. I mean, the men were, it was the year that Miss Mexico won. It was like a huge deal that she won. And I didn't really realize how big of a deal it was for Venezuela until I sat there. And it was like, men were rooting Miss Venezuela on the same way, and all of the other, like, you know, Latin American countries, the same way that they would a sporting event. I mean, I was just like mesmerized, you know? So anyway, that's kind of how we got into it. And then we met Katie Stam, who was, I think she is the only Miss Indiana America that won Miss America. I could be wrong, but I think she is. And she's actually from Seymour, which is where my ex is from. And the year that she gave up her crown, her boyfriend proposed to her. So she's married and has kids now, and she lives here. And is very successful. She's gorgeous and very sweet. One of the sweetest people I've ever met in that whole pageant, like, world. But anyway, she introduced us to her friend, and he is the one that puts on these mock interviews, and he's very involved. And so that's how we got involved in it. But it's really a lot of fun. And yeah. So every year we get to meet the contestant, and then they put on their outfit, like they put on their dress that they're gonna wear, and they put on their interview outfit, and they bring it out, and we get to see all that stuff firsthand. It's very cool. I know it sounds corny, but I eat that shit up. Some of the pageants that are the most fun are like the county pageants and like the state fair pageant. Those are like some of the, which the state fair is going on right now. But I think that the state fair pageant is like the very first thing they do when they have the state fair, because I think like the state fair queen, she's the queen like for the whole reign of the state fair, if that makes sense. So I think she's already been crowned. Speaking of pageants, I'm real obsessed with drag pageants too. And Entertainer of the Year, which was the very first national pageant that I ever went to in Louisville, Kentucky, it just was the last week of July, and Danielle Hunter won, who Danielle Hunter has been a Miss Cosmopolitan, or Miss Continental. She's been like everything, and I think she's from Florida, and she won National Entertainer of the Year. I thought she already was a National Entertainer of the Year. I just was assumed that. But she's kind of like the contestant that shows up and like every other girl's like, we're fucked. You know what I mean? But anyway, but she's a Miss Continental. Miss Continental is like the pageant of pageants. And it is in Chicago at the Baton. And it's Labor Day weekend. I really, really want to go. I've never gone. And I was just the other day, I was looking at there was some video that's put out that has all the contestants that have won, because you have to win a prelim to then go and be in one of these pageants. And so I was looking at all the winners of the prelims that are going to be in Miss Continental, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go so bad. But maybe some other year. We've got so much stuff going on. We're going to Vegas, and then we get back, and then Alex has Spring Awakening, I think it is, or North Shore. It's some music festival in Chicago. He's going up there for that. Which, in reality, I mean, I could go with him and then just go to Miss Continental, but I don't really want to go alone. So, he's going up there for that weekend. Plus, I don't want to board the dogs that long. And then when he comes back, that following week, he's flying to Nashville because his best friend Sarah is moving back to Indianapolis, and she's road tripping it from LA. And her last stop is Nashville, Tennessee. And Alex really wanted to do the road trip with her, but she's coming back at the same time. I think she's starting it like the same week. It just didn't work for his schedule. So I said, why don't you just fly out to her last stop or something? So I think he's going to either fly. He got, like, yesterday he was like online looking. He's like, it's so expensive to fly. It's like $300 or $400 from here to Nashville. I go, it's $400 to fly from here to Nashville one way? He goes, yeah. And I go, that is ridiculous. And I said, well, keep on checking the flights. And so he said he was going to. But then he got online and he looked and he goes, the bus ticket's $20. I said, oh, Alex, I said, you could have taken a bus from here. I mean, that's a long bus ride from here to Nashville. He goes, no, it's not. It's only like 5 or 6 hours. I said, oh, is it really? He goes, yeah, it's not that long. So I think he might take the bus. He's like, I don't mind. I'm like, okay. I'm really excited about our trip to Vegas. It'll be fun. Oh my God, I'm at 23 minutes and 34 seconds. It's gonna stop, so I'm gonna stop it. I'll be right back. I'm back. Sometimes I slightly slant the screen that's up, so then I have to so then I'm upside down looking at myself. Upside down and turn around. What's that Diana Ross song back in the day? Upside down. Wow, you turned me. We used to hang upside down when I was in elementary school. We'd hang upside down from the bars and we would sing that song. Tanya and I were talking tonight about how we want to watch old movies on our patio and sit outside. And we were talking about how we want to watch Body Heat. Have you ever seen Body Heat with Kathleen Turner? Oh my God, that movie is so sexy. And we were talking about how we were going to sit on our back patio, and I said, yeah, we should just take the computer out there and watch it. And she's like, yeah, and then we could hook it up to speakers. And I was like, yeah, and then she was like, yeah, or we could even get one of those projector things and we could have snacks. And I said, Tanya, we were just gonna sit on the patio and we were gonna watch a movie on the computer. Now you've turned it into this whole event. She's like, I know, and it'll never happen anyway. It's crazy that it's already the beginning of August. It's like, where did summer go, you know? Gone too soon, I guess. I feel like that at the end of every summer. And the weird thing is I'm kind of excited about fall. Like, I'm kind of excited about September, October, November. Gone too soon. Oh, summer. I need to swim some more. The thing is, we need to plan another trip. We were thinking about all of us going out to visit Alex's brother, Fufu, in San Diego for Christmas, but I haven't heard a whole lot about that since then. I don't know if they're still planning it or not. I was like, just sign me up. If we're going, I'll go. And then they were wanting to go to Vegas to stay with his cousin for New Year's Eve. So I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what we're doing. Sometimes it's good for me to like just sit back and allow everybody else to plan stuff, you know? Like that's really been a piece of like my peace of mind with recovery that's happened just in the last 5 or 10 years is my lack of need to always control everything. You know, sometimes it's good for me to just go with the flow and allow somebody else to be in control of whatever the situation is. Like, I don't need to always be in control of everything, you know what I mean? Addicts and alcoholics by nature have this need to control every outcome, every situation. And so when you kind of step back from that, you go, you know what, I really don't have any control. It's kind of healthier, you know, like you just control your side of the street and what you can do and clean up your side of the street and the rest of it, especially if it's fun stuff like that. You just go, okay, go, you know. It is hot out tonight. Oh, it's gone down 2 degrees, 78 degrees now. Inside out. Boy, you're turning me. Did you guys hear about that whale that was carrying its calf around like for 9 or 10 days? Has she stopped yet? Oh my God, that broke my heart. It was, they called it something like the Trail of Mourning or something. It just was so sad. I just was like, oh my gosh. If I had known that I was going to get in my car and vlog after going to the grocery store, I would have just bought a drink. I almost did. I need to make some lemonade at home. Do you ever just feel so lazy? It's like I have lemonade at home to make, and like Alex and I will drink the container of lemonade, and then we put the thing in the washing machine, and we just, or the dishwasher, and then neither one of us makes lemonade. We just put it back, and it's like, that lemonade was good. Well, I mean, we have like 10 things of it, not 10, but we have like 3 things of it. I'm like, there's lemonade to make. It takes literally 2 minutes. But sometimes I'm so lazy about stuff. Are you guys ever like that, where you're just like, oh my God, I'm so lazy, like I don't want to do anything? I'm like that a lot. I like the sounds of the world, you know, cars driving by. But I don't like too much of it. Like, I don't think I could live in a big city. Like, I like it to visit. But, like, Miami, like, if you've been to, like, South Beach, like, Miami is a big city that doesn't necessarily, to me, feel like a big city. Because it's like, by South Beach, it's like everything's only like 3 or 4 stories, or I don't know, there's hotels that are like 10, 12 stories, but like, it feels very small, and you're right there on the beach, and even though you see people driving the streets, it's very busy, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like a beach city, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like this major metropolis. Now, when you're in downtown Miami, it does, but it feels homier than that. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels, I don't know, homier. I like how Miami feels. I'm ready to go back to Miami. This is not the time of year to go, though. It rains a lot in Miami at this time of year, I think, and I don't know, I just don't want to go there right now. Or I'd be like, let's go down for the weekend, you know? Maybe. Maybe, baby. I gotta get up earlier tomorrow because I gotta get stuff done before I go have coffee, because if I don't, then none of my videos, none of my stuff will get done. Oh, did I just break the cap on this? You know, I was like, I've been thinking a lot about this review channel, and I was like in the grocery store tonight, and I was like looking at this area where they have like, you know, where you turn like cauliflower into like pasta, and they had like all these different things like that, you know, kind of like as seen on TV, but not really, and like Shark Tank kind of stuff. And then I had thought earlier today, like, I would love to try stuff like, you know, like the real expensive donut, or, you know, like something off of Oprah's my favorite things list. You know what I mean? Things like that, and try them. And that if I did it, I would like every day would be like a different day, like a food or like an appliance or electronic or like an everyday cleaning item or something like that. I don't know. I know I'm saturating the world with too many channels. I'm not stupid. I get that. But at the same time, as I think about it, I feel like this kid that just has all these ideas and I just want to do them, you know, like, I just think it would be fun, and I would do it like in a really funny way, like my rant videos, you know? Like if you like my rant videos, that's kind of how I feel like my reviews would be a lot, you know? Care about the backlash that I get, but I don't want to start something that's just going to tank, you know? But I've also, in life, followed the beat of my own drum always, and sometimes it's left me very much alone. You know, often it's left me feeling isolated and like I don't have a lot of friends and people that relate to what I'm doing or, you know, whatever, but sometimes it's introduced me to a whole new group of people, you know? And, I don't know. And then I was thinking maybe just do it one day a week on my drama channel, but I was like, there's so many things that I want to do with like reviews on. There's so many things, you know? So, I don't know, it's just like, the mind reels at all of the things that I could like review, you know what I mean? Who knows? We'll see. I'm not starting anytime soon if I do it. I got enough on my plate right now. Sky's beautiful, but it does look like it's going to rain again. It's kind of been raining off and on all day long. Alex was laughing last night. He was like, our dogs are so lazy. Because, like, he comes home and, like, well, I brought him Noodles and Company last night, so we were sitting there eating. And as, like, when he was done, he, like, pushed it aside. And, like, the dogs are just, like, laying all over him. Because they can't wait for him to come home, you know. Because he's gone all day. So when Alex comes home, like, Boo, Tucker, and Pee-Pee are literally, like, they lay all over him. It's so cute. And he was like, we have the lazy, like, Pee-Pee was, like, falling asleep, like, on Alex's knee. And Alex is like, we have the laziest dogs. I said, babe, they're dogs. Like, that's what dogs do. What do you want them to do? And he's like, well, they don't ever, like, run around and play. I go, yeah, that's what they do every day. Like, go listen to my Peterisms video. Like, at the very end of, oh my God, I haven't put my Peterisms video up yet today. At the very end of all of my Peterisms videos, they always, like, Boo Radley always barks at the very end. And I'm always like, I don't know if he knows, like, my sign off or what it is, but, like, he always barks, like, at the very end. He's always like, arr! And I always kind of try to edit it out at the end, but, like, there's not a whole lot that I can, you know. Oh, shit, you know what? I'm such an idiot. I'm not gonna post my Peterisms video tonight. Did I edit it? Because usually now, because of my new camera, like if I reach over and start it, have you noticed that on my videos now I'm not reaching over and starting it anymore? Because like it starts filming instantly, and like my Sony, it was like a 1/10 of a second like gap, so it didn't look as bad. But now I have to I edit out the beginning and the end of it. But I think maybe I didn't on my Peterisms video. So this will be like the first 3 seconds. I can't do that. I have to edit that out. It's corny. I was thinking a lot today about how I was talking about the tennis camp stuff, you know. Back in the day I did tennis camps, but I think my tennis camp was only like 6 weeks. like 4 or 6 weeks, and so by the middle of like July, I was done. And then I would always have like July and August. I mean, I played tennis elsewhere, but like the everyday camp that I did, that was Monday through Friday, it was over by then. And so July and August for me were really like months to just like hang out, you know, in the summer. And when I was in school, we didn't go back to school till after Labor Day. It's so weird to me. Like most of the kids, like in our district where we live, like they've already gone back to school. They've already started. And the teachers were back in school 2 weeks ago preparing. And they've had PTA, or not PTA, Parent Teacher Association night, and they've had open house and everything already. And it's just August, like the beginning of August. Like it's just so weird to me, you know? And we would always go back whenever Labor Day was. I mean, school did not start till after Labor Day. That's how it was in our, when I went to school. And so it's so surreal to me that schools are starting so early. So I always had, like, after tennis, even though I still had fun in the summer, you know, with tennis, but after tennis, I always had, like, the rest of July and then all of August. And it seemed like summer was so long back in the day, you know? Like, I mean, there wasn't a day that I didn't go swimming. There wasn't a day that we weren't, like, walking up and down the street, you know, the kids, like, carousing and getting into trouble. I mean, we didn't really get into trouble, but, you know, playing games and, like, knocking on people's houses. Can so-and-so come out and play? There's always a group of us walking down the street, it seems like, you know? It would always start with my neighbor, Katie, and I. And then we would, like, walk down the street, and, well, we would get, so it was, like, my house, and then Katie's house, and then Jesse's house. And so Katie and Jesse and I, the 3 girls, we would, like, walk down the street, and we would be like, hey, we should get a game going, like a soccer or baseball or whatever. And so we would, like, try to get a bunch of people to come out. Well, that always would take like an hour, you know, to get everybody down there. And then a lot of times, it would, when everybody came down, it was all the boys, like, the girls didn't want to play. And so, well, I mean, sometimes we did, but a lot of times they didn't play. And so the 3 of us would just sit on that, and I just wouldn't play if they didn't. And we would sit on that electric box. Do you guys remember that electric box that would hum back in the day? And we would sit on there and we would just like chomp our gum. And I remember, I've talked on here about this before, but we used to chew like Bubblicious. Okay, loud. I'm trying to tell a story here. So we would chew like that Bubblicious or that Hubba Bubba. Do you guys remember that back in the day? Oh my God, I love that stuff. And we would like chew it obnoxiously. Or, oh my God, the Big League gum. Do you remember that? That came in the pack, and it was like tobacco that like baseball players chewed. We would chew that too. It was like stringy. And we would like have these huge bubbles, and then we would pull our gum, and it was the year that Poltergeist came out, the movie, and we would like, and we thought the bubble gum, the pink bubble gum, looked like what Carol Ann and her mom come through at the end, you know what I'm talking about, in that door. And so we would like open it, and we would like go, come through the light, Carol Ann, come through the light, and we would like scream it as we were like chewing this gum. We would roller skate on the street, and Jesse and I played this roller skating game back in the day. We'd dance or roller skate to Donna Summer. And just craziness back in the day. So funny. Miss those days sometimes. Easy, you know, life was just easy. You don't have to do anything. And then at night I'd come inside, you know, and take a bath and have dinner with my mom, and then like I'd be in my little shorty pajamas. And I keep on wanting to get some of those like button-up pajamas, but I always forget whenever I go to the store. They're really not that comfortable anyway. That's why I wear sweat shorts. But my dad wore them way back in the day too. But you know, I have my little shorty pajamas on, and then I'd go in and I'd read for an hour, and then my mom would come in. I'd always read some like detective novel in the summer, not novel, but detective book in the summer. You know, like I was always into these detective series that I would get from the library. And I'd read for a little bit, and then my mom would come in, she'd say goodnight, and we would listen to like a Old Town, or what are those, like you know, The Shadow, or Fibber McGee and Molly, and then she'd go in and watch a movie, and she'd go to bed, you know, late. And that was my summers back in the day. And when I was with my dad, it was, you know, well, on the weekends that I was with my dad, we always went to the boat in Michigan. So because that was when when I was younger. He was still living in an apartment, because he didn't move into his house until I was 12 years old, and like it took him like 2 years to build his house, so he didn't move in there until I was like 12, and so we would go up to Saugatuck, Michigan in the summers, and you know, I had friends up there. We ran around. My dad had my dad's partner had a boat there at the same time that we did, and it was fun. But those were fun summer weekends. Somebody on one of my videos the other day or something said that they remember me telling the story about the woman on the boat during like 4th of July weekend, and she like got into my Judy Blume books. I was like, did I tell that story on my vlog? My God, I need to be careful what I say. But then I was like, she's long gone at this point. My God, I mean, that was like when I was like 6 or 7, and she was probably 50 at the time, you know? I'll never forget that. My dad kept on calling her to come up, and she was just drunk as a skunk, and she came out, and I'll never forget her husband that had this horrible toupee when their houseboat drives by, and he's got all these chicks that are topless on his boat, and she's like, oh my gosh, she like ran down below, and I don't remember how he got her on her boat. Like, my dad felt bad for her or something. She had one of those like flowery bathing suits, you know, that has the skirt on it. She opened my Judy Blume books and read my Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I was so pissed. That was like my special book collection that I had gotten that weekend going up there. Crazy shit always happened at the lake. I remember I stayed up there with my dad's partner's wife, who was one of my mom's very best friends, like even like years after they were divorced, like up till my mom passed away. And I stayed up there with her the week of the royal wedding, and she was like obsessed with the whole royal family and stuff. And I remember we went to like 3 or 4 towns looking for like strawberries, because she had to have like strawberries. She was making all this strawberry shit for breakfast. And I don't know why I remember that, but like we went to all of these towns, different grocery stores, trying to find like certain strawberries or something. And then that was the week that when I came home, like her son, she drove this green Cadillac Riviera, like with a, you know, and in the back seat, she had this open box. Do you guys remember box detergent, like laundry detergent? She had this open box of bleach laundry detergent, okay, and open in the back. And her son had a blister that had popped, and he put his foot in and he put his toe into this box, or his foot into the box, and the bleach got onto the blister that had popped, and he literally screamed and cried the entire way home. And she was like, not like happy about it, let's just say that. That's the shit you can't make up. Like, seriously. Oh my God, my battery is almost dead. I can't believe it. You guys, I am so sorry for the other night that my battery just stopped. It literally just, boom, just stopped out of nowhere. I couldn't believe it. And then I tried to turn it back on so it would let me record like a goodbye, and it stopped again. And so then I knew I only had like 2 seconds. It still didn't even let me do it then. So, being that I'm at, like, I don't know, 20 minutes so far on this part of the film, the video, the docu-series, The Life of Peter Monn, I am going to stop it and say goodnight before it stops on its own. And I love you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful week, a wonderful summer, and I can't believe the week is almost over. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.